Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reviewing the 12.9-inch M1 iPad from Apple, which was released back in 2021. This video is targeted to students wondering if it is still a great buy in 2024, or for those who simply want to save on some money and use it for media consumption or less demanding tasks, like sending emails and browsing the web. So let's get started with this review. Coming up at number 1, let's start by discussing some of the features that make this iPad a great device to get your hands on in 2024. First of all, the speakers on this device sound excellent. They have a lot of bass and sound very clear. Keep in mind that because the speakers get very loud, it can lead to some discomfort in the hands from the constant vibrations of the device. But this is normal. It's not like it only happens with the iPad. However, the speakers do sound amazing, and here are some samples for you to get an idea what they sound like compared to other Apple products. Coming up at number 2 is another great feature of the iPad, which is its display. This iPad has a mini LED lit display and also supports ProMotion. This means that the iPad varies its refresh rate depending on what you see on screen. This helps with prolonging battery life, but it will also make animations and using the device feel a lot smoother and more responsive. The colors on this display are fantastic, and here it is compared to the M1 MacBook Air display, which is a liquid retina display, versus the iPad's mini LED display. Do keep in mind that the brightness on both devices differ by a large margin. For example, the M1 MacBook Air only has a total brightness of 400 nits, while the M1 iPad Pro 12.9 supports up to 1000 full screen brightness and 1500 nits for HDR content. The M1 MacBook Air also does not support HDR, which the iPad does, so the comparison is really unfair, but for comparison's sake, I've put this clip together so we can simply see the difference between the displays and what they look like when you put them side by side. Now, coming up at number 3 is the hardware inside this device. The iPad has the M1 chip inside, which is very powerful and efficient. This means that the device has very few hiccups performance-wise. It comes with 8GB of RAM unless you get a variant of the iPad with 1TB of storage. But I have noticed that in my usage case, RAM has never been a problem. For more demanding tasks, your biggest problem will be heat. I will discuss this further on in the video because this is a really important point that requires further explanation. Now, a really great companion to the iPad is of course the Apple Pencil. Therefore, coming up at number 4 is the unique enhancements and benefits of using the Apple Pencil. But what really makes the Apple Pencil stand out is just how precise the device is. This allows the Apple Pencil to support pressure sensitivity, meaning that the pressure that is applied to the Apple Pencil will affect the stroke of the pencil on screen. It also analyzes the angle of the Apple Pencil, so that will also affect the line of the pencil on screen. Also, if your Apple Pencil is flat, it takes a few minutes to charge, enough for continued use, which means that you shouldn't be falling behind those lectures. Now, just as a heads up, while the Apple Pencil is a great device, it is up to apps to take advantage of it. In fact, I don't know why, but OneNote is really buggy when using the Apple Pencil, so you might want to try other apps if that is also the case for you. I would also like the Apple Pencil to have more productivity-based features added in the future. Right now, it is limited to a screenshot when swiping from the left or right corner of the iPad, depending on your settings, or to take notes, which could do with more customization in the future or further iterations of the Apple Pencil. The M1 iPad is also running on iPadOS 17, which introduced the ability to customize the lock screen and Stage Manager. Once again, these features are only relevant depending on what you do on the device, but are meaningful enough that I have to mention them. Not much has changed on the iPad that will revolutionize how you use the device, but small software changes have made workflows more manageable and efficient over the long run. Now, of course, not everything about this device is perfect, so let's now discuss some of the downfalls of this iPad. Let's start with the most obvious one, the battery life. In some instances, the iPad can last from start to finish about 6 to 8 hours. However, if I use Final Cut Pro for the iPad, the battery drains really quickly, bringing it down to about 3 to 4 hours, and possibly even under 3 hours in some circumstances, which is a huge difference. Not only that, but as I previously said, heat is a big issue. Every time I have used Final Cut Pro for the iPad, it has always heated up a lot. I had to resort to taking off the Apple Folio case, which is a cool accessory in itself, but as I quickly learned, it also likes to trap a lot of heat, which means I obviously just couldn't keep it on the iPad because it was making things worse. And since I mentioned accessories, let's bring up the costs of the accessories available for this iPad. the smart keyboard that costs nearly 700 New Zealand dollars, which is just outrageous. The point I'm trying to make is that the accessories available for this device are really expensive. Therefore, if you get this device for advanced tasks like heavy video editing or Photoshop and you need a lot of storage, you're better off getting a proper computer, which will likely be cheaper. Also, don't forget that this iPad, while it can run some popular software like Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve, these are versions designed to be used with touchscreen and typically do not have all the desktop features you would expect or may be familiar with. Therefore, like I said before, it may be best to get a laptop depending on your situation. Now, we do have the M2 iPad, but it is only slightly more powerful and won't make a night and day difference. However, I still believe that where this iPad truly shines is for media consumption. The big screen simply looks gorgeous and makes watching movies and YouTube an actually entertaining hobby. But once again, this iPad is almost, if not more expensive than buying a MacBook Air with the M1 chip. But depending on your exact needs, the iPad may not be the device you need. If you get this device, or even the iPad with M2 or M3 or whatever comes out next, you will have a mostly good experience. Of course, no device is perfect, but the 12.9 M1 iPad is still a very capable device to use in 2024. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know if you plan on getting this device or already have one, and what your experience has been like so far. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more tech videos in the future, and if you have any questions about this iPad, leave them in the comment section. I'll do my very best to answer them. But as always everyone, I will see you in the next one.